I'm Andrew Phillips. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to replace the battery on a PS4 controller. A lot of times if you're connecting, it's having a hard time holding a charge. People think that you need to get a new controller. You can replace the battery for $4 or $5, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do in this video. So let's get started. Now to access the batteries in these, you have these four Phillips screws. You can see those two, then these two. You take those off, and then you can get in there. This is what the battery looks like. Very easy replacement, and all you do is you just unplug them. You can swap these out. But I'll have the specs across the screen. I'll also have links down in the description to these. But a lot of times, this right here is your problem if you're having issues with your PS4 controller not functioning properly and not holding a charge. You can just easily replace the batteries on these things for $4 or $5. You can get them online. Very simple. As you can see, we have it plugged in. The light is blue. So the battery is charging here. It should be close to a full charge, and we'll be able to see if it's going to hold it. All right, let's unplug it. Okay, it's still... Okay, so it's saying it still needs to be charged. But let's open it up. We'll swap out the battery if the battery is showing signs of swelling. We'll turn this over, and these are very small Phillips screws in here. So you want to make sure that you have a very small Phillips screwdriver to get those, because the last thing you want to do is be stripping those. There we go. Put this one off to the side. Now the other ones, you have one here, and one here. I'm going to remove those. We'll be back. I'm not going to film the whole thing, but I'm going to get those other three taken off, and then we'll be back. As you can see here, all four screws have been removed. So now we're ready to remove this piece here, the back. You can see how that comes apart right here, but you want to be very careful. You want to take it off gently because there's pieces that are connected. Okay, now this is coming on. That's interesting. So it is got a little bit of a charge in there. And we're going to push down because you want to slowly work this off. The way that is like that. Just gently pop these off. You don't obviously want to break it. We can do that by pushing down on these little joysticks here to get it to separate off. That, and just be patient like that. There's our battery. Now looking at this battery here is actually swelling up, so definitely needs to be replaced. We come here sideways. You can see how the battery is kind of plumping up. That's not a good sign. Definitely want to get rid of that. And I'll turn it this way so you can see what we're going to do, but you don't want to be putting any stress right here, which already it looks like this thing has gone through. So we will just grab this, just gently work that out. And that disconnects like that. So now we can set this off to the side. Now we have full access here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this battery. So to do so, you have this little harness here. We can just grab it and just pull side to side gently. And that should come right up out of there. Here it comes. And that's how you disconnect the battery. And I'll show a comparison of this one to the new one that we're putting into it. You can see on the left is the one that came out versus the one on the right, and you can see how much more swollen that is, which is the issue why it's not holding a charge. You can see it there too. You can see a little bit of the roundness of it. And then if we, let's see, put it upright. If I move this way, You can see right there how it's swelled up as opposed to this one. And the replacement one here on the right, it comes with two different connectors. Obviously, the bigger one is the one that matches what we're going into, so you would just use this one. You'll see there's a slot right there on the top of the plug. And if we look at the harness there, you can see that little point up top, that little fin, that's going to slide right down in there. So basically, it's going to go in like that. Push it all the way down. There you go, till it clips. And then now the battery can set in here like this. And you have this extra plug on this one. But anyway, it's going to be like that. So we can just take this extra piece here, just tuck it off to the side, because obviously we don't need that. You can bend that down. And that's how it's going to go in. So then now we can bring the back. We're going to connect that. And then don't forget, we have this ribbon cable that we disconnected off of this one as well. It goes right here. So we'll plug that in and then we can flip it over. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take this little ribbon here and we're going to plug it in to that little socket right here. Now, the way that it goes is that this blue piece faces out. So we're going to be taking it in like this and plugging it in. So we'll bring it in and hopefully you can see it. And just like on these kinds, it has that little tab. So it's a little harder right there. So it's easier to put it in. So we'll bring it in. And unfortunately, you can't see it, but all right, so we have it in. So now we're going to bring this gently over. Got to be very careful that nothing gets pinched. We'll slide this back on this way. Want to make sure that all this connects. Okay. That's good. And then just press it down gently here. Okay, this one's kind of... There we go. Okay. Make sure everything is, nothing is, okay. Oh, and the new battery is already acknowledging it. You can see it coming on already where before it was dead. So that's a good sign. However, you don't want to be using these till you fully charge the battery. You want to get the battery in a charging cycle anyway. That way it keeps the full life of the battery. So let's see if I can. All right, so now let's bring it here. I'm going to screw all this back in and then we'll be back to look at it and then we'll test it. Everything has been put back together. The new battery is in. We saw it responding already immediately. We're going to connect it to the charger and see how it functions. So we'll turn this on and then we'll wrap up this video. Turn on the PlayStation. It's connected to the charger. We can see it's acknowledging that it's connected. Now, as mentioned already, before you go using it, when you put the new battery in, you want to make sure that you properly charge it for the full duration of the hours required. And you want to make sure that you follow the proper cycles. A lot of times you want to do a full charge, draining the battery, then taking it back up to a full charge for 4, 5, 6 hours, whatever the time is for the first several times to get on it, for the battery to learn that memory. Let's see here. Now it's blue because it's in game mode, but if we unplug it, we see it's still on, where before we were losing it at that point. But let's see if we get an indication up here that it's charging when we plug it in. A lot of times you'll get something up here in the corner that'll show you that it's charging the controller. Okay, we'll unplug that, and now let's see if it works. All right, so all this is working when I press the buttons on here. And you can see down here in the corner, it's showing the controller fully charged. But I'm still going to let it charge for the full cycle. But before, this old battery was not doing that. It was constantly trying to charge. When we would disconnect it, it wasn't working. The only way to keep it running was to have it plugged in. Let's see here. We can use this part, or we can use the little sticks here. Everything's working fine. It's vibrating. I don't know if you saw that, but the shock is working very good. Still blue with it disconnected. It's working great. Comes right on connecting. You want to make sure that you charge your battery with your new battery, but that wraps up this video on how to replace the battery on a PS4 controller. As we saw, it's pretty easy. You crack it open, swap these out. You can pick these up $4 or $5 online. And a lot of times, if your controller's not responding, not holding a charge, 99% of the time, that's your problem. As we saw here, the battery was swelling up, so definitely an issue. But that wraps up this video. Please send me any questions and comments. I would love to hear from you. I hope that the video helped you out. If you want to see a video I did with my PlayStation right here, because this one here I picked up online needing work, and I show how to disassemble, clean, and repair that as well. I have that link across the top, also down in the description with some other videos that might be beneficial. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.